Welcome to the Fundamentals of Task Management. By now, you should have completed the 4 Arcadis Way models in which we introduced the foundation of the Arcadis Way for project management. Those Arcadis Way modules provided an overview of the important process and common terms that we all need to understand as project and task managers for Arcadis. The Fundamentals of Task Management modules, this being the first, will provide a deeper knowledge of what is needed to be successful Arcadis task managers. We'll discuss in greater detail the philosophy of the processes and best practices and the expected outcomes. You, as the task manager, are the key to our delivery success. Because you are so important, the first module will focus primarily on the skills, behaviors, and competencies that are expected to be exhibited by Arcadis task managers. This module has 3 main parts. Part 1 defines the Arcadis way of task management. Part 2 provides consistent definitions in terms of what a project and a task is, and the people involved in delivering these for Arcadis. Part 3 covers task manager roles and responsibilities. By the end of this module, you should be able to define and describe project and task management at Arcadis, Arcadis business lines and value propositions, task manager categories, recognize and indicate benefits of task management of the Arcadis way, and task manager behaviors. Identify and adopt task manager competencies, key performance indicators for task managers, and outcomes of task management the Arcadis way. As we look at the Arcadis way of task management, it's good to understand the great work that we perform across the globe. This not only provides an understanding of the breadth of what we do, but also helps us in working with our colleagues in the regions to know how we can support their needs in a large variety of areas. A total of 14 global solutions have been selected in which we can leverage our global knowledge and capabilities. Each global solution has a global leader, a role combined with a role in the region. Each global leader provides the regions with global knowledge and capabilities, support on strategic pursuits, collaboration or coordination, and joint development of new propositions. These are the current 14 global solutions. First is Intelligent Transportation Solutions. Intelligent Transportation Solutions are intrinsically linked to all aspects of our everyday life. Disruptive smart technology will redefine the future way we live. Whether it is electric vehicles, autonomous vehicles, or mobility as a service, it will impact our lives and the communities we live in. Intelligent Transportation Solutions wants to enable the delivery of leading world-class, sustainable, optimized, whole life value solutions throughout the life cycle of the transportation asset. Second is Rail and Urban Transport Solutions. With our rail and urban transport solutions, we want to enable cost-effective, efficient, and safe mobility throughout the life cycle of rail assets by industry-leading experts in design, management, and consulting. The types of service we deliver in rail and urban transport cover all 4 phases of the asset life cycle, from planning and creating an asset to operating and redefining them.
Port Solutions. We are a global player in ports and container terminals and marine infrastructure and leading on major locks and waterway programs in selected geographies. With our Center of Excellence for Ports, we are able to deliver knowledge and capabilities across the globe. We enable cost-effective, efficient, and safe transport and handling operations by state-of-the-art expertise in planning, conditioning, design and engineering, and project management of the infrastructure, and consulting on the asset conditions and operations.
Integrated Airport Solutions. Air travel is growing exponentially with more and more people flying the strain on airports, and their assets is growing too. Airlines are competing for this growing number of passengers and looking for ways to save cost and improve customer experience. We provide innovation, savings, and certainty in delivery by offering our clients planning, design, construction, and operational solutions. Our clients are airport owners, airport operators, airlines, and airport-related businesses.
Intelligent Water Networks. Intelligent Water Networks offer effective and enhanced water network solutions to our communities and water utility companies. With our solutions, water can move reliably and efficiently for our clients' distribution, collection, and drainage needs, whilst enabling the next evolution in networks, moving from passive systems to sensor-enabled, self-adapting systems to eliminate service performance issues. Environmental restoration. Arcadis has built a reputation of having world-class expertise in environmental restoration. This reputation has been earned by delivering some of the most innovative and successful remediation projects around the world and by aligning our core expertise with our clients' needs in solving their most challenging problems. Business advisory. Our business advisory community are able to help by bringing our asset expertise together with our business insight to maximize the value we can deliver to our client.
Performance-driven architecture. With performance-driven architecture, we help our clients improve the value of the built environment through a design by applying the greatest available intelligence to create compelling design with measurable benefits.
Performance-driven engineering. In performance-driven engineering, we strive to create substantial value for our clients. We do this by applying engineering principles and technology to build systems design and construction to achieve social, environmental, and economic measurable benefits through assets designed lifecycle.
Program management. Through our global expertise, best-in-class portfolio, and mega multi-program solutions, we understand our clients' investment and business objectives and successfully oversee implementation. Program management is about managing risks, making investments work harder, and improving the beneficial outcome to our clients.
Cost management. We optimize the relationship between our client investments and benefits they realize using data, insight, technical expertise, and asset experience. The adoption of a contemporary yet robust cost management and commercial strategy, which is referred to at each stage of a project or program, and utilizes engagement at an appropriate level, will enable delivery of the client's required outcomes and optimize the return from investment.
Operations and maintenance. An aging asset base in combination with a focus on cost reduction creates challenges for our clients, both in public and private sector. With our solutions in operations and maintenance, we can help our clients deal with these challenges. Through our extensive knowledge in infrastructure and water assets, we are able to deliver exceptional outcomes for our clients.
You may recognize some of the global solutions as ones you currently participate during your daily project task delivery. An understanding of the broader global solutions which Arcadis provides will provide you with an insight into where the GECs may work in the future.
Arcadis wants exceptional task managers, and we want our task managers to have excellent system and processes. A consistent and defined way of managing project tasks using a single GEC-wide system. Defined processes that use the Arcadis Way best practices will help us be efficient in how we manage tasks, as well as ensure we are managing risk appropriately. Our internal stakeholders will be receiving remarkable solutions, and they will be receiving consistent best practices and processes so they can have confidence that they'll receive the same high level of delivery every time, regardless of who the task manager is on the project. Let's just take a moment to make sure we are all on the same page with regards to how we define a project, task, and the people who manage them. A project is a defined set of activities or scope of services. A project can be internal to Arcadis, in which case we would open an indirect or overhead project to track the costs and completion of the activities. A task is a package of work required to be delivered as a component of a whole project. Depending on the size and complexity of a project manager may have one or more task managers who are managing specific portions of your project. These task managers may be located either in the region or within the GEC. A task manager is someone who has the technical expertise and skill set to manage a specific scope of work on the project to agreed to time, cost, and quality parameters. As a task manager, you have a direct line of reporting to your line manager, who will typically do your monthly project task review with you. Your line manager will also be responsible for the performance of all task managers within their team, and as such, we'll want to ensure that we are well ahead of any potential issues on delivery and ensure that you have the resources and tools needed to manage your project successfully and profitably. On larger and more complex tasks, the task manager may be supported by a project assistant who helps with activities such as keeping the project task plan up to date and ensuring accurate reporting in our financial systems.
In Part 3, we are now going to discuss the task manager roles and responsibilities. To provide the right focus and level of detail, we will break this section into 3 subsections: task manager categories and career path, task manager competencies and responsibilities, and task manager key performance indicators or KPIs. One of the cornerstones of the Arcadis way of task management is to establish a consistent way of defining task manager skills and level of expertise. Aligning with the project manager categories, this ensures that there is consistency in how we resource the management of our projects and tasks globally. We have established 4 categories in the task manager career path. The first is Category 4, which is typically the category in which you would start as an Arcadis task manager. In this category, you are managing smaller, lower-risk project tasks. You may be mentored by or managing portions of larger tasks for a more senior task manager. Because you are managing smaller tasks, you will also be managing a lower amount of project hours. This is also when you may begin refining your skill set in the core competency areas we will discuss a little later.
As you gain experience and expand your skill set and the core competencies, you will be able to take on larger and more complex tasks, including interfacing with other disciplines, thus moving up to a Category 3 task manager. As a Category 3 task manager, you will typically manage medium-sized tasks or perhaps a portfolio of small tasks that have low to moderate risks. As mentioned earlier, small to medium-sized tasks comprise the majority of the GEC's work, so we would expect that the majority of Arcadis Task Manager would be in Categories 4 or 3. To move up to a Category 2 Task Manager, you'll need to have mastered the skill set required to manage larger, more complex tasks that have medium to high risk. This may include managing multidiscipline delivery teams. Finally, Category 1 task managers have significant experience that has allowed them to refine their skill set to manage our highest risk in most task projects. They can manage significant tasks across multiple disciplines and in collaboration with teams in multiple locations. Arcadis is committed to providing you the tools and training that you need to grow in your career as a task manager. However, as with any position, it is up to you to take the initiative to understand and master the skills and gain the experience required to move up from one category to the next. The fundamentals of task manager training is geared toward providing you a solid foundation for task manager best practices. However, you are also encouraged to be proactive in managing your career advancement by reaching out to more senior task managers for mentoring or advice. Don't be afraid to ask questions of your fellow Arcadians for lessons learned. Equally as important, bring up and document lessons learned on your projects to allow both you and your colleagues the benefit of your experience. We have identified 8 competency areas that define the skills and experience required to be a successful task manager at Arcadis. These competencies include stakeholder management, financial and commercial management, people management and development, task delivery and quality management, effective communication, knowledge management, risk management, safety, health, and sustainability. Obviously, the level of skills and knowledge needed in each competency area will vary depending on the size or complexity of the project task. All competencies are required to deliver a successful task. Let's go through each of the competencies individually to get an understanding of what is required, starting with stakeholder management. Stakeholder management is quite simply working with and engaging with our internal stakeholders. It's making sure we can communicate to identify project needs and understand expectations. It's having a dialogue with our colleagues so we understand their position or ideas so we're all on the same page. This starts with the best practice of a project kickoff meeting with a project manager so we can start off every project on a good footing. It's also about managing our internal stakeholders' expectations. In some cases, the project manager may not have the same level of understanding of what is involved or what can be provided in a solution. It's not only our responsibility to come up with the best solution, but it is also our responsibility to manage the expectation on how much and how long it will take. Sometimes this will require difficult conversations where this doesn't align with what has already been committed to their client. Through building strong relationships with our stakeholders, understanding their needs and working collaboratively, we will be able to have honest conversations, manage expectations, and deliver our work successfully. What behaviors have I observed in others who were effective in understanding and working with a client? The second competency, a financial and commercial management, focuses predominantly on scope, schedule, and budget. It's making sure we have a defined scope and necessary plans for the successful execution of the task. It's preparing and maintaining a work breakdown structure and delivery schedule. It's applying the right resources to the schedules and making sure they are available to perform the work. On the financial side, it's about ensuring our percent complete of scope is in line with the costs incurred. It is comparing the cost incurred to the original cost budget and continuously looking for ways to improve or close gaps to plan. It's also about ensuring that all project hours are captured against the correct project codes and that there are no issues with invoicing this to the regions. It also means understanding what work is in our scope and negotiating a change order for work that is out of scope. You also need to make sure you update your forecasts accurately and in a timely manner, and are able to discuss any concerns about delivery to plan with your line manager during your regular project task reviews. In summary, it's about managing what is known as the three-legged stool of the task manager: scope, schedule, and budget. If one of the legs on a three-legged stool falls short, the stool is unsteady. Similarly, if the scope, schedule, or budget falls short on a task, the project too will be unsteady, and the potential to miss either the client or Arcadis' expectations will increase. Obviously, there is a significant difference in skill set required to schedule and manage a small, short-term, low-risk task compared to a large, complex task with several components on the critical path. The same behavior and diligence around good planning, regular monitoring, and appropriate control is needed for all our project tasks. A couple of questions you may want to ask yourself related to your skill set in financial and commercial management are: how often do I review my project tasks' progress? How confident am I that the work will be completed on time and in budget? What is my contingency plan? Is there any scope creep that has happened that I may need to discuss with the project manager for a potential change order? Is there a better or more streamlined process that I can implement to deliver the work under budget and earlier than planned? The people management and development competency addresses Arcadis' greatest asset, our employees. As a task manager, it's not only your responsibility to ensure you have the best resources allocated, but it's also important for you to motivate your team to reach the goals and objectives of the task. Sometimes this is very easy if you have a seasoned team who enjoy working together and delivering the type of project work required. Other times it can be more challenging if it's a large team dispersed over multiple locations or regions with different levels and varieties of skills and with different in language skills and culture that has not worked together previously. In this situation, you, as the task manager, may be required to facilitate team building to have a motivated and cohesive team. Equally as important is to remember that, just like you, your team members are developing their skills through their work. It's your job to mentor and professionally develop your team so they can continue to learn and grow. Depending on the skill set and the employee, you may not be the only one who's providing the hands-on mentoring, but as the task manager, you should be working to ensure that the right training and development is occurring for your team. A couple of questions you may want to ask yourself related to your skill set in people management and development include: what behaviors have I observed from others or that I've experienced in my career that proved to be effective in the development of team members? Do I delegate work effectively? Am I providing timely and positive feedback to my team members to help with their skill sets? Task delivery and quality management is all about delivering quality solutions that meet the project requirements. Task delivery includes being proficient with the Arcadis Task Manager tools and functions and using Arcadis' and the industry's best practices to deliver the work. It's about getting our best and brightest together in our planning and implementation to come up with innovative solutions. It's also about engaging our technical leaders to ensure we have quality built in every step of the way. A couple of questions you may want to ask yourself related to your skill set in task delivery and quality management include, do I feel proficient in the Arcadis Way principles and best practices? Am I using our technical experts to ensure quality on my project tasks? Do I pull a team together to strategize about a solution for better delivery, and do I pull in experts on the solutions when needed? A key for any good manager, no matter what role they have in Arcadis, is effective communication. Good communication is important in both the written and verbal forms. In the written form, it's important for the audience to be able to clearly understand the content of the message. This is true whether you're writing a design brief, so it's clear to all parties what the GEC is promising to deliver, writing a report so that the team have a clear understanding of the status or situation on a project, or writing project plans so there are no questions in your team members' minds about what is expected of them and the processes that should be followed. Good verbal communication is also of great value, not only for presentations to your stakeholders, but also in our day-to-day functions. Living in such a high-tech world, it can be so easy to just send an email or instant message to address an issue or provide a status. However, you need to ask yourself, is giving the person a call sometimes the quickest way to gain clarity and move on? It has always been said that you should provide both good news and bad news in person, or in the GECs, often via Skype. Obviously, there are times when the written message is the best way to communicate so that there's a record of what's needed. The power of verbal communication when providing good news or not so good news, providing instructions on the next steps or changes to the project tasks is invaluable. A very seasoned task manager will call the project manager just to check in, regardless of whether they have news on the project or not. What you will find is that project managers will receive not so good news much better when they have had regular dialogue. If you only call the project manager with not so good news, they may eventually stop answering your calls. It's also important to have regularly scheduled communications with your delivery team so everyone knows what is happening and are all on the same page. This can be more difficult when the team is in various time zones and locations, but it's worth the effort. Part of communication is delegating effectively. Obviously, as a task manager, there are certain activities that you cannot delegate, but delegation of appropriate duties is a way to mentor and develop your team members. However, you must clearly communicate to them what activity needs to be performed, what the expectations are in terms of level of effort and schedule, and how you will define success at the end of the task. As you know, good communication is the cornerstone of successful relationships with the people you value in your personal life. The same is true when building relationships with your colleagues in the regions, team members, and other stakeholders in your professional life. A couple of questions you may want to ask yourself related to your skill set in effective communication are, how often do I ask for feedback on my communication styles and its effectiveness? What behaviors have I observed from others that are effective when communicating with the regions and our team members? Knowledge management is the process of capturing, developing, sharing, and effectively using available organizational knowledge. It's about understanding what knowledge tools are available within Arcadis. Knowledge management is the process of capturing, developing, sharing, and effectively using available organizational knowledge. It's about understanding what knowledge tools are available within Arcadis, using those tools to help successfully perform project tasks, and contributing to those tools so we can continue to provide the most innovative solutions. We have some great knowledge in Arcadis, and we want to be able to use that to our advantage, not only within our business unit or GEC, but also to share it with other GECs and globally so it can be used wherever it may provide value. Again, this is a two-way knowledge path. One way is to make sure we're using the knowledge that is in Arcadis to apply to your project tasks. The other is to share the knowledge that you have gained so others can use it to help make the delivery successful. Part of knowledge management relates to document management. Make sure you understand what's needed to ensure that any processes applicable to the use of knowledge tools are followed, and that document management principles and protocols are adhered to around project-related data and information. Typically, document management principles and protocols may include version control, regulatory requirements, records retention, information classification, and information security. A couple of questions you may want to ask yourself related to your skill set and knowledge management are, do I know where and how to link into Arcadis' available knowledge and best practices? Do I have knowledge and practices that would be beneficial to share with others within Arcadis, and do I know how to share it? The risk management competency centers on being able to identify risks on a task, as well as understanding our agreed scope, budget, and schedule. It's important that the identification of potential risks begin with the pursuit phase, so we can make an informed choice in terms of how to mitigate the identified risks. During the pursuit phase, the risk register should be developed with the potential risks and planned mitigation actions. You'll want to make sure that the risk register is up to date and correct during the handover meeting, especially if you were not involved in the pursuit. Share the risk register with your team during the kickoff meeting so your team members also understand what risks may be involved. It's important to remember that the risk register is a living document that should be reviewed, updated, and communicated on a regular basis. As a task manager, it's your responsibility to understand the risks on your project, ensure that your project team and the project managers understand the risks, and seek help and advice to mitigate the risks when needed. A couple of questions you may want to ask yourself related to your skill set and risk management are, do I understand our design brief thoroughly, and do I understand the identified risks? Do I keep the issues log and risk register up to date? How often do I update them? How do I share them with my project manager and project team? Safety, health, and sustainability is a cornerstone of Arcadis. Health and safety stewardship is the responsibility for all those who manage a team and for all Arcadians. As a task manager, it is your responsibility to be a strong steward for health and safety. Make sure you understand the health and safety policies of your regions and requirements, and that your team knows, understands, and is adhering to the applicable health and safety practices. Would you allow your team to continually work long hours, putting both their health and the delivery of the task at risk due to poor planning or management of expectations? As task managers, it's also our job to make sure that health and safety is at the forefront of all we do by promoting and mentoring a health and safety culture. This can take many forms, including the simple act of starting each Arcadis meeting with a health and safety moment. Arcadis' goal is to have everyone go home safe and injury-free at the end of each day. By making health and safety a part of our culture, we can achieve that goal. In addition to the health and safety of our employees, are you also considering safety in the way in which you design our project tasks? This includes design to remove risks during both construction and operation, and where this is not possible, passing knowledge on of residual risks using safety and design registers. The other part of this competency is environment and sustainability. Not only do we want our employees to go home safely at the end of the day and for our designs to be safe, we also strive to leave our environment and communities better at the end of the project. To be able to do this, we need to focus on and promote the use of sustainability solutions. As we plan a project task and continue through the delivery life cycle, we need to continuously monitor and understand the impact so we can provide the best sustainability solutions possible. In summary, the 8 core competencies are skill sets and knowledge that are needed to be a good task manager, regardless of the task manager category or years of experience. We are all unique individuals, and as such, not everyone will grow equally in all the competencies. However, as you grow in your experience and advance in your career to higher task manager categories, so too will you grow in each of these competency areas. We have explained the competencies needed to be a task manager, but how do we measure effectiveness in these competencies? To measure this, Arcadis looks at key performance indicators or KPIs for task managers. There are 4 quantitative KPIs, including net revenue management, risk complexity of task managed, years of experience managing tasks, and past performance as a task manager. There are 5 subjective KPIs, or what could be considered soft skill KPIs, which include team leadership, internal stakeholder satisfaction, effective communication, health, safety, and sustainability stewardship, and compliance with our Arcadis Way. Let's take a closer look at each of these KPIs, how they tie in with the 8 core competencies, and how you can impact them as a task manager. Of the 4 quantitative KPIs, they all relate to the financial and commercial management competency area and task delivery and quality management. The first quantitative KPI, amount of value managed, measures the total value of the tasks which you are responsible for and will depend on your task manager category and the type of tasks you managed. Category 1 task managers will manage much higher volumes of work than categories 3 or 4. The second quantitative KPI, performance to budget, seeks to measure how well we manage our delivery to meet what we have promised financially to the project manager. The third quantitative KPI, cash flow management, measures how well the task manager is in control of costs being recorded and booked to the correct project codes and invoiced to the regions. Are you getting your PAFs in place, project codes opened, and for Oracle regions to the correct staff resourced onto the GEC task? The fourth quantitative KPI, project task updates, measures how often you are completing your project task reviews, replanning, and updating the forecasts in the financial system. The first objective or soft measured KPI is team leadership. This aligns with the people management and development competency. It looks at how well you work with your team and how your team members feel about being part of the project team. It considers how well you are mentoring and developing your team members. Are you a task manager whose team members thrive and move up in their career track? Do you allow your team members a chance to develop and learn new things? Do you delegate appropriately to your team members, or do you control all the work yourself? How do you handle issues with a team member who may not be in the right position? A good task manager is a strong team leader, and this is reflected in the strength of their team. The internal stakeholder satisfaction KPI ties back directly to the stakeholder management competency. This is measured by feedback from surveys and direct conversations between you, your line manager, and stakeholders in the regions. This looks at how satisfied our colleagues in the regions were with the work being performed. As a task manager, you can greatly impact this KPI through your own relationships and how you manage expectations. Are you having kickoff meetings and regular updates to make sure you understand the project and task requirements, and are you truly listening to the project manager and your team's concerns? The effective communication competency was discussed in detail earlier, and this KPI looks at the skill sets of the task manager in this area. As a task manager, are you communicating well and at the frequency that is needed for written communication? Are you engaging your team on a regular basis? Are you reaching out to talk to your project manager as needed? Are you articulating current status, needs, and concerns well to the project manager, line management, and your team? Although it's expected as task managers that you can communicate effectively both in writing and verbally, if you're having an issue with a specific team member or stakeholder, part of being a good task manager is to recognize where you may need help and pull in the appropriate support to ensure the communication gaps are addressed. The KPI for health, safety, and sustainability stewardship can be both quantitative and subjective. Obviously, we can measure how many safety and design reviews have been completed, or if there have been any safety issues with the project team, such as being overworked. We can also look at what sustainability solutions have been provided on work. However, this KPI goes far beyond what can be measured and looks at the culture that you're creating on your tasks as the task manager. Does your project team feel that health and safety is a high priority? Is there a culture of looking for sustainable solutions? Are creative ideas for sustainable solutions cultivated? The development of the culture is a soft skill. The Arcadis Way is a combination of the best practices from around the world. This KPI reflects how, as a task manager, you are embracing and living the Arcadis Way through how you manage, work with colleagues in the regions, and interact with and mentor other Arcadians. This KPI encompasses all of the task manager core competencies. It is having the skill sets and being compliant with implementing Arcadis best practices. This may be anything from conducting handover and kickoff meetings to reviewing project tasks and ensuring good delivery in a safe work environment to closing out tasks, archiving document files, seeking feedback, and sharing your knowledge with other Arcadians. This KPI is about embracing the culture that makes Arcadis great and being recognized as a steward and leader of that culture. By now, you should understand what a project and task manager are, the interacting management roles, how they impact our project and task delivery, the 4 task management categories, and how to grow in the task management career path. The 8 task management competencies, how and why they are developed, and the underlying behaviors needed to be a task manager. The 9 KPIs used for task managers, and the behaviors behind them. The benefits and outcomes of everyone using the Arcadis way of task management. Just as with the Arcadis way training, this first module of the fundamentals of task management has focused primarily on you as a task manager. This is because your role is critically important to Arcadis. We wouldn't be successful without our skilled and talented employees and without the successful execution of projects for our clients. As the task manager, you are a cornerstone for that success. The subsequent modules in the fundamentals of task management focus on developing your skills to enable you to be successful in your endeavors as an Arcadis task manager. I hope you enjoyed the first module. Arcadis is involved in some fantastic projects around the globe that are managed by some of the best project and task managers in Arcadis. You've also heard how you can grow as a professional task manager at Arcadis, what of the underlying behaviors and competencies it takes to be successful. I hope you recognize that this is an opportunity for continuous professional development, and you'll seek out mentors and coaches who can help you on that journey. Project delivery is at the heart of Arcadis, and project and task managers are responsible to keep that heart beating. I hope you recognize that we're investing in you as a task manager, but it's important that you invest in yourself as well. Enjoy the rest of the modules and good luck with the training.